Happy Wednesday, everyone. It's Wednesday, May 15th. This is Bill DiOrio uh, talking to you from an undisclosed location in North Boulder. And I wanted to talk a little bit about one of the issues that I outlined in my original declaration or announcement. Um, it is what is the proper role of state government is what I wanted to talk about in the world today. And I wanted to focus on an unlikely bill, which is House Bill 1124, which has been branded as the sanctuary state law by many conservatives. But when I read the bill, actually, there's a lot of things about this bill I like. And I just wanted to go over some of these with you. The first thing is this bill actually asserts something I totally agree with, and that is that the federal government does not have the authority to command a state or local officials to enforce or administer a federal regulatory program, as doing so would violate the 10th Amendment of the United States Constitution. Now, we know that the regulatory program that they're talking about here is not necessarily a law. It's the immigration regulatory program, and I don't pretend to be an expert on that, but it's a critical distinction in that the state is asserting their 10th Amendment rights to be free of the federal government from imposing arbitrary restrictions on them and arbitrary requirements that the state comply and cooperate in enforcing these, quote, regulatory programs. Then the act goes on to assert that Colorado has the right to be free from mandates or financial obligations to perform the duties of the federal government. Totally agree with that one, too. The act asserts rightly the Coloradans have a constitutional right to due process. I totally agree with that. Colorado judicial system is the vital forum for ensuring access to the law for Colorado citizens. Couldn't agree more. And that these courts are the main points of contact for Colorado citizens, including all the poorest and most vulnerable citizens. Totally agree with that. And now the point of conflict here is that this law is only focused towards one particular program, the Immigration and Naturalization Service. And so basically, where I think a lot of people find fault with it, it seems to be classified, the only people that it seems to be protecting are people who are in the country illegally or being threatened by immigration and naturalization. And that's fine. I mean, that's what this bill is aimed at. I personally think people who are in the country illegally should not remain in the country. But on the other hand, is it necessarily the role of the state and local police and governments to operate the system for the federal government? Because what they are really aiming at here is the fact that the federal government issues what they call immigration detainers. Okay, and what that is they will send a request to a sheriff or a local police department asking that a person who's incarcerated in jail or is being held for trial or whatever is be given a detainer, which is basically a warrantless order that this person be held in jail without any charges filed, so that the Immigration Service can conduct an investigation. And the state asserts that these are warrantless incarcerations and they're illegal. And I think they have a good point. And so that the state is saying that we will not arrest or detain an individual based solely on these civil immigration detainer requests, because essentially they're claiming that these things are not legal. And they make another very excellent assertion here that the law authorities are limited to the rightful authority that is granted in state law. And I couldn't agree more. So nothing in the law, they say, it precludes local law enforcement from cooperating with federal officers or federal immigration authorities or the FBI or anyone in execution of a warranted detention. In other words, if a federal officer has a warrant for someone's arrest, the state will cooperate with that. But simply getting an email asking somebody to be detained, they won't. And also nothing in the section in the law precludes law enforcement from cooperating with federal authorities in the event of what amounts to a true law enforcement activity, which I agree with. So basically that's the nuts and bolts of it. And my argument, this is exactly what I think the states should be doing, but they should broaden their approach and not just limit their protection of illegal aliens in the state. They should use the same line of reasoning to the actual citizens in the state, protecting us from illegal restraints on trade, protecting us from arbitrary health mandates, protecting us from requirements that individuals receive medical treatments in order to maintain their jobs, protecting us from illegally shutting down churches and schools on the basis that these are non-essential items. And the list goes on and on. And so I applaud the state for recognizing that there actually is a 10th Amendment. And this is exactly the kind of thing I want to see more of, except I would like it to be spread out into more areas that I think the average citizen actually would benefit from. So that's what I have to say on that. So thanks very much, and I'll talk to you later.